Barcelona under Hansi Flick in December is firing on all cylinders. Top of La Liga, scoring goals at will, and humiliating the likes of Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, it feels like they're building something unstoppable. But patterns can betray futures. If they stay on this exact path, April and May could expose fatal flaws. Flick's philosophy might bring brilliance in the short term, but long term, it could also spell chaos. The key? Barcelona's players aren't fully built for Flick's style, and injuries could be the trigger for an unraveling. At first everything clicks. Pedri and Marc Casado are dictating the midfield with a mix of composure and energy, and Flick's press is as sharp as it gets. Marc Casado has slotted in impressively for Xavi, seamlessly covering ground and breaking up opposition plays. Lamine Yamal is delivering on his promise, showing that he can handle the weight of expectations. But under Flick, the system demands a level of physicality and tactical precision that strains even the toughest squads. Flick's Bayern had warriors like Müller, Thiago and Kimmich, players who were not just physically strong but also tactical masterminds who could adapt on the fly. Barcelona's core is different. Pedri and Casado are incredibly talented, but young, and the relentless demands of Flick's system will wear them down. Over time, miscommunications creep in. A press gets mistimed here, a counterattack slips through there. The results don't immediately show it, but the cracks are forming. Barcelona isn't Bayern. Flick's Bayern thrived on intricate positional plays and hyper-pressing, but can a team built on different foundations fully replicate that success? By February or March, the toll starts to show. Flick's philosophy begins pushing the players' bodies to their limits. Injuries pile up, not just for Yamal, who already shows signs of being injury-prone, but across the squad. Rotations come, but the replacements don't offer the same cohesion or quality. When this happens, the defense becomes a focal point. Pau Cubarsí and Inigo Martinez are holding their own now, but they're not natural fits for Flick's highline. As the press becomes inconsistent due to fatigue or injuries, the space behind the defenders is ruthlessly exploited by opposition teams. Iñaki Peña, while reliable, starts to look increasingly exposed. Long balls and quick transitions become the go-to strategy for every opponent. The once dominant backline begins to crumble under pressure. Then, in the midfield, Pedri and Casado, brilliant for months, begin to lose their sharpness. Flick's tactics demand them to cover massive spaces, recycle possession under constant pressure, and engage in relentless pressing. By April, their legs are heavy. Casado, despite his impressive rise, isn't experienced enough to maintain such intensity for an entire season. Opposing teams start controlling matches, leaving Barcelona chasing shadows. Without their midfield dominance, Flick's system starts to look vulnerable, even predictable. By this point, the attack begins to feel the squeeze. With Yamal potentially missing key games and no Joao Felix in the squad, the team loses the spark that stretches defenses. The opposition packs the midfield, denying space to Pedri and Casado, while forcing Barcelona into predictable wide and low-percentage attacks. The brilliance that defined their earlier months fades, and the frustration begins to show. As the cracks widen, April becomes pivotal. A critical Champions League tie slips away as an elite opponent exposes their tactical frailties. In La Liga, a string of tough fixtures sees them drop unexpected points. Confidence starts to drain. Opponents sense this vulnerability, targeting them with disciplined, compact defending and deadly counters. Flick's response? He doubles down on the system, pushing his players even harder, believing they can fight through it. But the squad simply doesn't have the legs or tactical resilience to execute it anymore. By the end of May, Barcelona might still secure a trophy, perhaps La Liga, riding on their early season brilliance. But it comes at the cost of complete exhaustion and disappointment in other competitions. What looked like a treble-winning season in December ends with questions about whether Flick's methods are sustainable. And heading into the next season, the energy and momentum are gone. Injuries, mental fatigue, and the lingering trauma of a late-season collapse leave the squad looking diminished. This isn't speculation. It's the inevitable outcome if Flick doesn't adapt. Injuries, miscommunications, and a lack of tactical flexibility will trigger a series of collapses that no amount of belief can stop. April and May will be the ultimate test, and unless Flick evolves, the cracks will turn into chasms.